Hi Jackie, I think it's working this time. I launched into an explanation of something and I don't think I was actually recording. Okay, so hopefully this video is a little bit better quality. Okay, so when I recorded that last video, you could see a sadness in my aura, right? Well, how I handle toxic overload is through my emotions and through sadness. I don't know if I explained that properly. Everybody has a go-to emotion. Some people laugh hysterically when it makes no sense to, and some people rage, like road ragers, or they fly off the handle for no reason. That happens. And for me, my go-to emotion is sadness. So what that tells me is that I have a toxic overload, because as I'm healing and clearing out the toxic junk that's been in my system for probably more than one lifetime, but as physically on this plane in this lifetime, there is junk. Like when I was a kid, I had 13 cavities, so I got 13 of those amalgam fillings. So there's a lot of mercury in my system. They say that 1 in 6 Canadians has lead toxicity in their system, just because we're in Canada and because the cars we used to drive were leaded cars. So we have these toxic loads in our system, and I've been actively working to relieve toxins out of my system. So what happens is it also affects my mind and it affects my emotions. And sometimes the only one who can't see it is me. So I go for a little stretch and not recognize it until things don't work for me anymore. So after I made that video, both, like, I showed it to Amy to get her feedback, and I showed it to Dave to get his feedback, besides the poor quality, and hopefully this one is a little bit better quality. They said, "You look sad. You're so sad, and you almost cried a couple of times." And it's like, yeah, like I did. And it's so overwhelming while it's happening that I don't recognize it. So what I do is I also go through regimes. Like, you know about the whole shake thing. I'm just about to make another shake. And I wanted to talk a couple of things about that for you too. But what else I do is, like, on the home front, like, you want to keep your space clear and your aura clear, because we are constantly emoting. Like, every time we think about something, we have a feeling about it, we release it into the environment, and it makes it dirty. So you could have a perfectly clean house, which I don't, and it feels like the energy is dirty in it, and it gets to the point where you can't move if you just leave it. So some natural things we do is we open our windows to bring in some fresh air, turn the heat down, get the air moving. That's the first thing, right? And we sometimes turn on fans. So in our house, we have ceiling fans, we have little portable fans. Like in the bedroom, I always sleep with a fan on, just because I need that air. And all summer, the windows open a little bit because I need that airflow. So that's one of the things we do. We also take salt baths, which really, like the salt baths I put in your package are intended to cleanse your space and to be able to help you think more clearly and feel more with open space, instead of, like, when you think about the past a lot, that's just junk in your aura. That's, I don't know how to say that better. But it doesn't belong, and you can get rid of it. You don't have to be dwelling on the past. And I'm not saying that you are, it's just something humans do, right? So when it happens, you can clear it. The other thing Dave and I do is we go sage picking every summer. And of course I like to collect, so I'm the gatherer. I like to collect enough for the winter too. So we still have some, and I wanted to show you. This is just the bag. I should just leave this where it is. Sorry. This is the bag I used to collect it this summer, and I still have it all in here, right? So that's a lot of sage, and I pick it locally. Like, we go to Birds Hill Park or somewhere near because we need that local energy. And I always, like, you don't have to send away to California to get white sage, even though that's a nice thing to use too. You can just get what is in your own backyard, because that usually has the most healing properties for you. So with the sage, we when we remember, we leave tobacco, and if we didn't, we say a prayer and bring back tobacco. But that's my little smudge pot, and when I light it, let me see if I can, hang on. Oh, that window is pretty bright, hey? So I'm lighting my smudge pot. What happens, and I know that maybe in your culture you are saging already, or maybe you did, or it's a forgotten thing, I don't know. But I highly recommend it, because not only do you instantly feel better after you've kind of submerged yourself in smoke, and traditionally you're thanking the smoke, and you're going into a little bit of prayer. Like, as I take this smoke into my eyes, may I see love. As I take this smoke into my ears, may I only hear love. As I take the smoke into my heart, that I could show my love, that I could, everything I say and see, I will express with love. And I give this smoke to my legs so that I walk with love. And I know everybody has their own version of the prayer. Woo, smoking up. So I let that go, and it cleans the air. It actually has a lot of properties that will clean the bacteria out of your air too. It like, even though it's smoke, it improves your air quality, believe it. I let it go until I almost set off the smoke alarms, and I open the windows and let whatever is negative or no longer serves my higher purpose to leave, right? So that's one thing. How else do you deal with the emotional and mental toxic overloads? How I manage is I burn candles in the house, because that brings light, right? I'm asking for angels. I'm asking for higher guides, ascended masters, God, creator, goddess, Mother Earth, whoever wants to be here to come in my space. And it's a sacred space for them to come and fill me with light, and allow to leave anything that no longer serves my higher purpose, for the best life I can live, in the most health, in the best frame of mind, in spirit, right? Because we're spiritual beings living in a human body. What else I have is a cat, because cats are fabulous energy clearers and little healers, and she's my little friend. And the fish, I think you saw these fish, here they are. It's my little fish tank, and you have to excuse the mess in this house. And behind me, I know this, you're gonna get a shot of this window, but there's plants, because the plants are little friends, and they're natural air cleaners as well, right? So each of my plants has been with me and has their own story, and they're just lovely to have around. So that's how it keeps me grounded to the now, so that I'm not allowing the things, like, because things are constantly coming out of my bones and out of my organs to be released. We're not experiencing it again to relive it, and that's where people get caught. But how we ascend and grow is in a spiral upwards. So what happens is we travel around, we revisit the same situation. Sometimes those lessons come up for us again, or these haunting kind of memories from the past that need to be released, not held on to, right? Like, we have our guilt, we have our sorrows, we have our angers, we have our injustices, but we're not meant to wallow in those things and live there. We're meant to, oh, wow, was I ever having a hard time in that part of my life? I released that. Thank you. Thank you for that experience, but I no longer need that in my space. It no longer serves me, so bless it and send it off with love. Nobody needs that shit in their energy field, right? You can journal. If something is really troubling you, write about it. Talk to somebody. Like, I have healing friends, and I'm quite grateful for my little circle, because everybody has their own take on it, and we share what we do. So I practice Usui Reiki, Karuna Reiki, and Litarian Reiki. I'm a big Reiki fan because of how it's really improved my life and improved my health. So my very good friend Deb is into access bars consciousness, and it's a really fast way to release. Like, it's amazing. Like, Reiki is very gentle and soothing, and it allows things to come up to the surface to release, and then we have to call in the higher guides to release it. But with access bars, it's like that. So Deb and I share our healing modalities, and it's really effective for us. We also hang out in circles with other people who are into healing modalities and who come across stuff, or people who are gifted. Like, it's amazing when you just talk to people, when you recognize their gifts. Everybody around you is gifted. It's just it's a fun thing to figure out what their gifts are. Even our partners and our children and our friends. So what we learn when we're younger is how to handle our stress in really inappropriate ways, right? Like doing something crazy, or going out and blowing it off with a bunch of booze. Or dancing is a fabulous way to release energy, because you're physically getting it off, and you can't beat dancing. So think about some of the self-destructive patterns and try to figure out, like, this is what I had to do, is go through and what else can I do instead, because I need a clearing. Like, it just, people know that I need a clearing, and it's okay, you know? So what do you need to do? Do you need to walk in the woods? Do you need to just center yourself, take a bath, write in your journal? Like, a lot of them are meditation or yoga. There's so many healing modalities, and it's really important to take advantage of all of them, right? So smudge and candles are a wonderful thing. Keeping things in your home environment to remind you of what you need. Putting healthy things into your body is really important. Sharing time with your loved ones, because they're important. And then when you have an overload, like, just stopping and taking responsibility for it and releasing it. So, like, what changed me from the other day was having a visit with my friend Deb, who does access bars, and she ran some bars. And that is, you know, she roots out those bizarre belief systems that we carry, so that we can kind of come to the recognition of, wow, did I really think like that? And release it. And it's amazing. A Reiki treatment can release those things. Reading cards is fabulous. Everybody can do it. Buy yourself a deck, or if you already have decks of cards, ask, light some candles, burn some incense, and like, crystals are a fabulous thing. Crystals I love because they help you hear energy better or see energy. Like, if I want to channel information from the angels, I put out the crystals. They're like little communication devices that allow me to receive the information easier. And I know you're talented. I know you have these gifts as well. Sometimes it seems like we don't, because we have a toxic overload. But if you release it, your gifts are back, and it's stronger than ever, actually, because you recognize that they never actually leave you. So yeah, about cards. Sometimes they'll offer insight in a card and go, oh, the aha moment, I get it now, you know, and then you can release it and be on your merry way. But to continue, because I keep rooting it out, I keep doing my shakes, I keep doing what is good for me, and I don't give up. Like, you can't give up, right? And you recognize that, wow, this stuff actually works. So, yeah, enjoy. So there you go. I hope that helps. Have a great day. Bye.